Hey y'all, welcome back. Y'all already know what it is. You see the title of this video. This is Real Housewives of Atlanta, RHOA Season 13 Reunion Part II. Girl, it's terrible. Ugh. I'm tired and I'm barely keeping my eyes open. So let's go ahead and get into it. We pick up where we left off with Drew and LaToya. I'm gonna spend this much time on this segment. LaToya, she did shade Drew first and she said that Drew's wigs were trash, and they are trash. Notice I said are and not were. I'm speaking in present tense and not past tense, because in parts 1 and 2 of the reunion, Drew kept saying, what about my wig now? What about my wig now? My wig look good now. Girl, no it does not. Time out and flat on the play. Your hairstylists need to be beat with a branch, because I'm still trying to figure out why they took a lace front and glued it to your scalp and then had the unmitigated gall to swoop it behind your ears and make a ponytail. I'm not sure why they just didn't take your hair and gel it back and then add extensions for a ponytail, but that tells me what I need to know, which is, Drew, you have a teaspoonful of hair, and so you have the audacity to take a picture of Kenya, and Kenya had a half wig on so you could see the track, which, girl, Kenya, you ain't got the same problems that Drew has, right? Drew has a dollop of hair, girl. You got a hair full of pretty thick hair. All you had to do was just brush it back, but you know what? Play as fuck up. I get it. We all have our days. But she took the image and then she began to tag Kenya Moore's hair company. And this is why I say that Drew is too sensitive for Real Housewives. She doesn't know the difference between reality TV and actual reality. And so the lines are blurring for her. And I just, Drew, you need to get it together, because if Porsha is grooming you how Kenya says she is, then girl, she ain't doing a good job, because you are supposed to know the difference. But then again, Porsha doesn't know the difference. She's fought 3 people on camera like an idiot. She's lied about something that was a grave violation, right? So I mean, if you're being groomed by Porsha, you're being groomed by an idiot. So I don't expect much better from Drew. Moving on. Next, we get to Kenya and LaToya, and I'm gonna spend this much time on this segment as well. I've always found that their relationship was odd, and I think their relationship is odd because they are trying to force a friendship. I think that Kenya and LaToya would do better more so in a auntie-niece role or in a mentor-mentee role. And I don't mean that in the ageist and sexist way that Shamia does, because, sidebar, Shamia is very ageist and sexist because she constantly shames these women for their ages. Aunties versus niece. She's always calling someone an auntie, and honey, her and Porsha are knocking on the door of 40. And I just don't know why she constantly does that. Like, Shamia, you need to stop that. It's a blessing. It's a blessing to be of old age, right? So if you're picking up what I'm putting down, you might want to fall back on criticizing someone for getting older. But anyway, back to LaToya and Kenya. Kenya says she doesn't have a crush on LaToya and that she actually was very disappointed with her this season. And LaToya apologized a few different times to Kenya, which she should have, because LaToya is a flip-flop. If you watched her YouTube channel, LaToya can't hold on to a friend. It is what it is. She'll be friends with someone 5 years. Next thing you know, she ain't friends with no more. She'll be friends with someone 5 seconds. Next thing you know, she ain't friends with them anymore. That's just who she is. She doesn't hold on to friends very long, right? And the only part I disagreed with Kenya about is that she felt LaToya did not come to her defense in Charleston when they were at the dinner table, when everyone was kind of piling up on her. I don't think that was LaToya's place. I don't. I think LaToya, she was new to the show. This was the first time all of the cast were together in one scene. And honestly, the people that you should hold responsible for having your back who did not are Cynthia and Kandi. And we know Kandi was a part of the pile up. So if anybody should have had your back, it should have been those two. Drew, then they cut to the segment of Watch What Happens Live, and Drew says that she thinks that Kenya and LaToya are romantically involved. And baby, this is where LaToya dropped the boom on her ass. She said, you know, you worry about me and Kenya, but what about you and I? Because you cheated on Ralphie with me while you was tonguing me down. And baby, a hush came over the room because everybody knew LaToya wasn't lying. Kenya substantiated it. So did Kandi. And then Kandi said, oh, Porsha, you gonna sit there and pretend. Who said that? You gonna do one of them numbers? Well, baby, let me go ahead and throw your ass up under the bus. You said you saw it too. And I want you all to pay attention to this scene. Go back and rewatch it. Two things happened. The first thing is that Drew said that she's kissed a girl before, right? Drew admitted to something that was the truth. I'll say I believe Drew when she says she's kissed a woman before. Drew admitted something that was the truth in a failed attempt to substantiate a lie. The lie being that she's never kissed LaToya. She figured she would give the audience just a little bit of something in hopes that they would believe this other statement she made. So then also Drew says, I want you all to show me the footage. Show me the footage. Drew, what footage would Bravo have? You all covered up all the cameras except for one. So what footage would they have, Drew? See, you knew when you said that, show me the footage. They don't have any footage because you all covered up the cameras. Don't act obtuse, Drew. Don't let Porsha rub off on you. You know damn well they don't have any footage, and you know damn well you tongued LaToya down. And maybe that's why you all can't get along, because maybe you accusing Kenya of having a crush on LaToya. Maybe it's you that has the crush on LaToya. Moving on. Next, Andy reads a question that basically asks LaToya, why does she feel so comfortable to share Kenya's alimony information with the nieces? And I'm gonna translate this. This is not what LaToya said, but we gonna translate because we moving along here. LaToya basically said, girl, hell, I don't know. I'm new to this show. I'm trying to figure out the dynamic of these women, and I can't. They say they're in a sisterhood. One day they love each other, next day they hate each other. Hell, I don't know what to believe. I thought it was okay. I thought it was cool. Kandi shared Kenya's business, which, pause, Kandi put a buttoner on that real quick. She shut it down quicker than LaToya could get it out of her mouth. She said, girl, I said that, but I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have been discussing that, and you should have as well. That's how you do it. But long story short, LaToya don't know why she shared it. She cannot, for the life of her, figure out the dynamic between these women. Honestly, I can't either. When I hear background information about them, like Kenya and them are all part of a group chat. They all talk in the chat, but y'all hate each other on the show. I get where LaToya is coming from. However, to Kenya's point, you may be the youngest one on this show, but you certainly aren't the dumbest one, especially since Kenya has explained to you ad nauseum and in great length why she does not want certain women on that cast to have sensitive information about her. And she even said, you know, Drew, I really don't care about her. I don't have a problem with Drew. Drew is being groomed by Porsha. And honey, that was the one funny part of the reunion. I literally screamed when Kenya said that, because it's the truth. Drew is being groomed by Porsha. I mean, y'all know I call Drew Porsha 2.0 because that's exactly what she is. Moving on. Next, Shamia and Marlo enter. I completely forgot about Shamia's dress. I just forgot about it. You all, it was Diana Ross meets the Love Boat. She looked like someone who sings on cruise ships for a living. Everyone else, well, not everyone else, Porsha, Cynthia, and Kenya were giving us glam. You could look at them. They didn't look like they were wearing costumes. They looked like they were going to a gala, right? Shamia's outfit looked like a costume. I think Marlo said it was Coming to America, which, girl, don't do that. Vanessa looked damn good in Coming to America. Do not compare Shamia to her, because Shamia looked a hot mess. The bouffant hair, the feathers, the gloves. She said she was giving us all Hollywood glam, which, you know, Shamia, you're the first person to pull the age card. You're the first person to denigrate these other women about their age or their maturity or whatever it may be. But honey, you weren't even looking auntie-ish. You were looking grandma-ish. Like, that was just so out of style. The hair was out of style. Whoever did it did not know what they were doing. That was not old Hollywood glam that they were giving. And then Shamia had the audacity when Marlo stood up to show her body, right? Her body, yada, yada. Shamia said, oh, she's fresh off a lipo. So, Shamia, you might want to keep that comment to yourself, considering your bestie and a testy, Porsha, that she's had work from her head down to underneath her feet. So you will be the last person in the line to say anything, because all y'all have had several nips and tucks. Moving on. Next, you all, we're rounding out. We're getting to South Carolina because we're about to approach Bologate, and I'll be happy because that means I can stop talking about all this nonsense. But we talk about South Carolina, and more specifically, we talk about Kenya being hostess with the leastest, which you all, I said it before one of my videos, I said it again, Kenya, don't host no goddamn parties. Don't host any more out-of-town girls trip until you get together, because honey, Kandi was about to go into a full-on seize if she did not get her crab cake. And Kenya admitted it. She didn't feel like going around to each of the 12 girls getting their order. Which, girl, you could have dropped a group text. You could have dropped the DoorDash group order. You did not have to manually walk around and take everybody's order. Like, girl, no ma'am. Like, that was an excuse. Like, Kenya, nah, I wasn't here for it. I've been hungry too. I get hangry as well, so I've been right along with Kandi. I probably would have knocked that crab cake out of your hand. But anyways, Andy then asked Kenya about Brooklyn, and if she had a nanny, why didn't she just keep Brooklyn in Atlanta with the nanny? And Kenya says, listen, the nanny was new, and I'm not leaving my child with a new nanny, and I don't blame her. The way people treat children nowadays, I wouldn't have left her with a nanny by herself, even if the nanny was an old nanny. I don't give a damn if she was new. I don't give a damn if she was seasoned. No, baby, you coming with me. And I agree with Kenya. If the rest of the women want to bring their children, Kandi can afford to bring Bolo in a box, you can afford to bring your daughter. That was an excuse. And we know from watching the season that even when Drew extended the offer, only one person brought their child. And guess who it was? Just guess. It was Kenya. Matter of fact, Porsha said in her one-on-one, well, I ain't never said I was going to bring PJ. I just wanted the option. So y'all gave this girl grief for no goddamn reason other than you didn't like Kenya. And then, Kandi, you had the audacity to say that you weren't mad that Kenya brought Brooklyn, but you feel that she used Brooklyn to get out of filming. And so what? So what if she did? Certainly, if Porsha can go to executives and have whole scenes removed, then Kenya can use her child to get out of filming. See how that works? Porsha does whatever the hell she wants to, and no one says anything about it. But no, ma'am, I'm going to say something about it today. Today I am. She can go to the executives and have a scene removed. Then Kenya can use her daughter to get done with filming a scene. And I don't see a problem with it. If you do, speak to the executives that remove scenes at Porsha's request. Moving on. Next, we get to the topic of mothering. And the only reason I am calling your attention to this scene is for two things. One, Porsha was acting a lot like Nene. Did you notice how she tried to control the scene? And when Andy tried to move on, oh no, we not moving on. No, we not moving on. No, we not. Girl, you will never be Nene. I know you think you the queen bee because when you and Kenya was going back and forth about this mothering topic, you said, I'm sitting next to Andy too. Girl, who gives a damn? I mean, if we're gonna brag about something, right? If we're gonna brag, Kenya has sat next to Andy several times. Welcome to the club, Porsha. I mean, like, what is that about? Like, you really feel like you're the queen bee, and people have really amped you up for you to believe like you're the queen bee. I'm sitting next to Andy too. Okay, good for you, girl. You want some chocolate? You want a cookie? You want Bolo again? Like, what do you want from us? Like, girl, good for you. And that's why Kenya just smiled and rolled her eyes, because, honey, when you sat next to Andy multiple times, Kenya has been sitting next to Andy since she came on the show, right? Am I wrong? Correct me if I'm wrong, y'all, because I feel like she has. She has been sitting next to Andy for the most part. I think there was one season or two where she didn't sit next to Andy, but she's been sitting next to Andy. She's had that coveted position since she came on the show. How long did it take you to get there? Kenya, while Andy asked her the question about what she meant by a tweet where she quoted Porsha in the show saying, you know, Kenya thinks her mothering is better than our mothering, and Kenya said, you know, basically guilty much. And while he's asking Kenya the question, Porsha, how long she gonna keep interrupting me? Who you talking to? He was talking to Kenya, as Kenya said, Dumbo, the listening ear. See, you so hyped and amped up to check someone that you're not listening, right? We don't want you to have another snafu like the Underground Railroad, Porsha. So you need to take it from a 10 all the way down to a 2. Next, Andy asked Drew why she felt the need to tell the rest of the ladies about Kenya's private jet. And she said she wanted to hold Kenya accountable. But girl, who's holding you accountable? Who's holding your glam squad accountable for all those terrible fashions and hair and makeup? Who's holding them accountable? And maybe if you got your nose up out of Kenya's business and stuck it back in your own business, you would realize you look a hot mess coming on our screens every Sunday. Talking about you were holding Kenya accountable. Girl, bye. Like, that doesn't even sound, you didn't even know Kenya to hold her accountable. Does that even make sense? You're going to hold someone accountable that you don't even know? Girl, they're friends. No, they're not friends, Drew. Porsha and Kenya are not friends. Cynthia and Kandi and Kenya, I guess they're friends. LaToya was on the plane, and Marlo and Kenya at the time were not getting along. So no, they're not friends, and it was not your duty to let them know. No, it was not. Kenya chimes in, and she's basically like, listen, I don't even know what Drew's issue with me is, because I've always been really nice to her. Like, I think she said she texted her, she called Drew and let her know that she threw a really nice housewives party, which, looking back at that scene, and I could tell it then, but I don't think I mentioned in my video, you could tell that Drew was auditioning. You could tell she wanted to make a good impression on the ladies and ultimately the producers and the executives of the show. And so Kenya congratulated her, like, girl, you did your thing. Great job. You really know how to throw a housewives dinner. And Kenya even said that she reached out to Drew and said, listen, we're going to be wearing some lingerie. And I know you said you have body issues. So just as a heads up, if you need some Spanx or something, you might want to go get it, because we're going to be wearing lingerie for a portion of the trip in Charleston. Here comes Drew, the D-list actress. Well, since you're going to put my business out there, I have an issue where it's scarring from my abdominal to here, and I got to have a hysterectomy. No one even said all that, Drew. Like, no one, literally, no one mentioned your medical history. I don't know why you felt the need to share that. Like, I just was mortified. You know, Cynthia Bailey hands, really? I was like mortified that you would go out of your way to say that in an attempt to make Kenya feel bad. Girl, don't nobody care. That is a medical issue. There are people all over the world who have medical issues, worse medical issues than that. I don't know what to tell you, Drew. Like, that wasn't any of our business. And if you said that to make Kenya feel bad, I can see that Kenya did not feel bad, because honestly, it's above us now. Like, no one cares. Moving on. Next, Kenya is asked about her broke bees don't split checks. And she said it was shady, which of course it was. Shade is the name of the game. I don't know why Drew is having difficulty picking this up. You know, Porsha, you're grooming her. You need to let her know that shade is the name of the game. And so then Drew says something along the lines of broke bees split checks, but rich bees buy homes that are $1 million. Is Kenya's home not worth $1 million? And I'm asking that seriously because I don't know. I thought her home was worth over $1 million. I could be wrong. Please let me know. But she's not the first nor the last housewife that has a home that's worth $1 million or millions of dollars, and no one cares. So then Kenya says you're rich, but you need a job. and here comes Thug Drew. Excuse me. She said rich, but you need a job. Step up, $400 million. And you all, I've never seen Step Up. It's not a movie that I would relate to, if you know what I mean. And before I did this video, I was on Twitter and I saw that Kenya tweeted that Step Up actually only grossed 113 million worldwide. Well, I shouldn't say only, but it grossed 113 million worldwide. So Drew, I don't know where you received your estimates from, but that's incorrect. And just because the movie made, and let's say we take Drew to be the truth, just because the movie made 400 million, you did not see 400 million in your pocket. Hell, you didn't see 100 million. Hell, you didn't see 10 million. I doubt if you even saw 2 million or 1 million in your pocket, okay? You are not Viola Davis. You are not Angela Bassett. Step Up is nothing to brag about. Moving on. Next, we get to the montage regarding Kandi and Porsha's relationship, which I think this goes without saying. Kandi's a better person than me because I would never, and I do mean I would never speak to Porsha ever again in real life and on the show. I would have nothing to say to her. After you accuse me of such a grave violation, it's nothing for you and I to talk about. You can apologize until you turn blue in the face. I wouldn't give a damn because I wouldn't even hear the apology because I wouldn't even know that you existed in my world. I don't know if you all watched Love and Hip Hop, but a long time ago, Erica and Scrappy were filming a scene, and this was in the behind the scenes episode. And Scrappy's standing in the apartment. Erica comes in and she's looking all around. And Scrappy starts looking at her like, what the hell wrong with her? She's looking all around. She's looking for Scrappy. She goes in the back. She looks in the bedroom. She doesn't see him. She literally walks out, passes him, and walks out the house. And I guess she told production, like, hey, Scrappy ain't in there. And they're like, girl, he's standing right there. She never even saw him. That is how Porsha would be to me. I would have nothing to say about her or to her. But be that as it may, Kandi and Porsha have, at the time of this filming, I don't know about so much now, but at the time of this filming for the reunion, they had rekindled a friendship. And, you know, Kenya made a good point. She was like, you know, I would still keep one eye open because when someone has hurt you so badly, it's going to take you a while to rebuild that trust. Kandi, keep both eyes open when it's dealing with that Porsha. Moving on. Lastly, you all, we get to Bologate and finally. So they roll the beautiful bean footage of all them girls wilding out at the bachelorette party. And I noticed that Porsha was ashamed. I mean, even LaToya ashamed, like they were embarrassed. And I point this out, I make this point because later on in the segment, Andy says that this was revolutionary. I disagree. It can't be revolutionary when the people who are leading the charge are ashamed of who and what they are. Because here's the thing, you all. Porsha says she's a free spirit. These women pretend that they are secure with their sexuality or being fluid, but really Porsha is not. Because even when she discussed LaToya performing oral sex on her, one, Porsha lied. She said she had forgotten about it. She didn't forget. If you go back to the after show on Bravo's YouTube channel, they were talking about LaToya throwing up. And Porsha blurted out inadvertently, you know she's not smart. She goes, don't tell me that because she went down on. And she cut it off when she realized what she was about to reveal. And that's when Shamia, you know, Captain Saber, you know what, comes through and says, Porsha, why you say that? LaToya didn't go down on you. Why do you say that? What you talking about? Does thou protesteth too much? And once again, Shamia gave it away because she went above and beyond. That was my friend. I would have played it off. I would have played it cool. I wouldn't have, Porsha, what you talking about? Why you say you're bringing attention to it, you idiot? Damn, Shamia, you're a terrible cover girl. Like, just play it cool. Be easy. Be easy. You brought more attention to it with your antics. But anyway, Porsha lied at the reunion, said she forgot. She didn't. She remembered just fine. And this is what she said, and I quote, Toya was doing a thing on me. What is doing a thing on you? Why can't you just say, LaToya, you know, she she was going to perform oral sex on me. Now, it wasn't full blown, but we were making our way to that point. And as LaToya said, all she had to do was pull it to the side. And I don't know if you all noticed Drew's face. Drew said, "What you disgusted for, Drew? Miss Lickety Split? Miss Freak of the Week? Miss, I've kissed a woman? What you disgusted for? You kissed Drew, you kissed Toya with that same mouth, Drew. What you disgusted for? If everything y'all did was okay, if everything you did was acceptable, or you felt it was acceptable, what's to be ashamed of? Why are these women unable to articulate sex? It's not a difficult topic to discuss, certainly, especially if you Miss Freak of the Week like Drew, Kandi, and Porsha. It's not that difficult, right? So why can we not articulate our sentences? Why are we unable to say what happened? Instead of she did that thing on me. What does that even mean? How old are you, Porsha? My goodness. And it just goes to show you, these women are not revolutionary. They pretend to be free spirits, but they're not. You stand in who you are, and you be proud of who you are. I'm a free spirit, but I can't say, girl, ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Silver Bullet is Andy's dungeon name, which honestly, every time I say Silver Bullet, I think of Anderson Cooper, actually. So, Kandi, you need to come up with a new name for Andy, because Silver Bullet is Anderson Cooper's name in my mind. Kandi says bedroom Kandi went through the roof, and of course it did, because Kandi is a businesswoman. She all about her paper, and I'm not mad at it. Last but not least, we get to the elephant in the room with Marlo and Porsha. And I'm gonna need y'all help on this, because I really didn't understand what Marlo was saying, but I think I can translate it. So I watched Kandi speak on it, and in a portion of the speak on it, Marlo said that the day after Bologate, so the morning after, she texted Porsha twice asking about what happened, and Porsha did not respond. Marlo then says she didn't even notice how Porsha was glaring at her when she walked down the steps with Kenya arm in arm, right? Because she said she would have addressed it. So this is what I got from what Marlo was saying. Her and Porsha are friends outside the show. They've partied together plenty of times. Porsha has cut the fool plenty of times. Miss Freak of the Week, she done got down and dirty, and Marlo has never said a word. Marlo felt that if they were friends, Porsha should have responded to her text or pulled her to the side off the camera and said, hey, this happened, don't tell nobody. Where I disagree with Marlo at is that Porsha does not owe you an explanation. Honestly, she doesn't. Now, where Porsha messed up at is that she did this on national TV while filming a reality TV show. But she does not owe you an explanation just because you are her friend. Marlo thinks that Porsha is angry at her because Marlo denied that she wasn't the one in the room with the stripper. She uses Shamia or Shamil as an example. And of course, Shamia gets upset. Hey, my name not Shamia, my name's Shamia. And of course, Shamia makes fun of, I think that Marlo says she had a speech impediment. It doesn't sound like it. I think that Marlo has what the old folks call a heavy tongue or a tied tongue. Because when Marlo cursing you out, she knows exactly how to pronunciate those words. So she just talks too fast, and that happens to me as well. My mind moves way faster than my mouth, and I will have 20 billion thoughts in my mind, and my mouth just can't keep up. And so you kind of stutter and stammer over your words. It happens, right? But Marlo was saying that basically Shamia denied it, and you didn't have an issue, but you have an issue with me. I don't think that is Porsha's issue, but Porsha is also being dishonest. She was mad at Marlo, and she did treat her differently. She didn't respond to her text. She didn't call her from the time they left South Carolina to the pumpkin patch and let Marlo tell it on speak on it. Her and Shamia was in and out Marlo's room. They was steady in her room, and all of a sudden, nothing after that, she didn't come to her room. She didn't say anything to her because Porsha did not want you to know that she slept with the stripper. That's why, Marlo. That's how I took it. Porsha can deny that nothing was wrong. Porsha is lying to you. We know that Porsha lies all the time. Porsha will look at you. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up because my camera just cut out on me. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Marlo basically is not cool with Porsha ignoring her and not communicating with her. And you know, Marlo says she's basically been on pause, she's been silent, but she's about to tell the truth. And she said the person that you running behind and cuddling up behind, which is Kandi, she's the one who told me everything. So she basically throws Kandi under the bus. So you all tell me what you thought of that interaction. I think it's more so of Marlo just being angry that Porsha didn't include her. She thought they were friends, and then you didn't respond to her calls and messages. And so now, since you want to treat me like a piece of shit, I'm gonna be a piece of shit, and I'm gonna let everybody know what you did with Bolo. So with that, you all, if there is nothing else, get down in the comments, tell me what you feel. I apologize if this review was disjointed, but so was this reunion. So if there is nothing else, I will see you all later. Mwah. Bye bye.